But it's a bad one.
No.
Not quite the one.
It was open when we first moved here at BCBA, but yeah, it's just a terrible.
I don't know, Dairy Queen does a killing.
It's a beautiful day, wasn't it?
I would think it would, like with all the orange in, Mill Street.
Yeah.
I mean, I just get the traffic when it rain does.
They'll send I'd like to call to order the North Ridgeville Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, April 12th. Everyone please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Members of the board, Ali,
Present.
Brotman,
Present.
Swallow,
Present.
Avon,
Present.
Smolik.
Here.
Members of the administration, Chief Building Official Bergson,
Here.
Assistant Law Director Morgan,
Here.
Planning and Economic Development Director Labor,
Here.
City Engineer Rodriguez.
Here. Okay, so everyone had a chance to review the previous minutes from our meeting on Tuesday, March 8th. Is there any corrections at this time? Hearing none, those minutes will stand. Madam Secretary, is there any new correspondence?
No.
Okay, Madam Secretary, please call the first applicant.
North Ridgeville City Schools, 34600 Bainbridge Road, PPN 0700-016-104-233. Applicant John Moosberger. Modular Classrooms LLC, 1545 Brennan Road, Columbia, South Carolina, 29206. Proposal consists of installation of modular classroom building for use at the North Ridgeville High School. Property is zoned R1. Chief Building Official comments, appears to be code compliant. City Engineer's comments, plan set should include location of water and sanitary sewer connections for modular classroom building. And then Planning and Economic Development Director's comments.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to point out that staff is going to begin including a staff meeting bulletin of our pre-hearing review meetings and with your packet, so you have some context of the discussion that we had with the applicant. So this is the first one we did, so hopefully you reviewed that and found that useful. I did have quite a few notes from that meeting included in my report. I don't want to read all of them to you. I'm sure you took a look, but the gist of my comments was that I would like the applicant to include more notes about how they were overlaying the proposed trailer unit with the existing conditions, a little bit more context and understanding of what was to remain, what was to be removed, and how the existing would tie in with the new proposed development. So they did answer quite a few of the questions in my report and the plans that they resubmitted that were in your packet. I did note that the fire department has requested that all the parking that would be removed would be converted to fire lane. So whatever striking or signage might be required by the fire department should be included. And also I still have a little concern about the north end where the trailers and the new concrete walks intersect with the existing concrete walks. You'll notice on the plans that there's a set of stairs which illustrates a grade change. So where the existing sidewalks connect with the proposed new walks and ramps, I think it's just, they need to work out a detail to ensure that the elevations make sense, the grades make sense, and ADA access. So clearly a need for the school to get this project done. And I think with ironing out a few of those details, we'll just make sure it's safe and compliant as they're installed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is there, obviously, I believe you're the applicant. Do you mind going up and stating your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about your project and maybe if you want to dive into some of those questions the planning director had?
I represent John Moosberger. I'm Chris Byrne, and I'm Columbus, Ohio. I drove here earlier today. And the project, yeah, a couple of your I did have the new The architect lives 7 doors up from me, so I have access to his drawing and conversations with him. Yeah, one of your questions you had asked or stated was about the parking lot in the grass area underneath the building, was that correct? We're gonna leave it alone. We're not gonna touch it. We're not gonna dig it up. We're not gonna move it. We're gonna put piers in the ground where there's grass, and we're gonna put piers in the ground where the asphalt parking lot is. You also had mentioned about the fire lane, and yes, we have a fire lane there. We're removing the parking there and making it a true fire lane for the fire department. Let's see, I think you had a question, it was an ADA compliant ramps?
Yes, Mr. Chair, my specific concern is on that north side of the modular units where you show new ramp location,
Yeah.
new stair location, but it intersects with the existing concrete walk, but there's a grade change on that side of the property, so I just want to make sure in the detail that
It shows that. Okay.
when you pull the permit, it takes into account those grade changes.
Yeah, that existing sidewalk that runs is probably, I would say, 4 feet higher than the existing parking lot.
Over
Yes.
here. Yes.
Yeah, because there's like, where you have your varsity baseball field, they have mounding where the parents sit. And that's what sort of, that's what elevated that sidewalk over there.
It has to meet a 112. Yeah, it can't be any greater than that. So I will mention that, or I'll talk to the architect about that. It might have to be dug out some to make that work. I'm familiar with that hill there, but I don't have the grade in mind right now, but I know that they are putting 2 ADA handicap ramps on either side of the structure.
I guess before we get into the finer details, unfortunately, the school's not here. What is their ultimate end game here, or is this temporary, or is this semi-temporary, or what, I guess, what are they looking for? What's their
I know
scope?
they purchased the building and they're going to use it. Well, how long? I'm not quite sure. I know they didn't rent it, they purchased it, but a lot of schools purchase them and then sell them again. And from what I heard, it's not going to be a permanent. And the school board asked John if he would buy it back at the end of this particular project they had going on. So, as far as I know, it is not permanent.
And as far as their schedule goes, are they looking at obviously fall of 2022?
Yes, that's what they're looking at. In fact, the buildings are all here. I think they've all been staged, the sections. And we have the school has a lot of people ready to go to work and have the classrooms in by, I think, July, before school starts.
All right, at this time, I'm gonna open it up to any questions or comments from the commission.
Mr. Chairman, questions I have, this is a used unit, is it not?
Correct.
Do you know if they've gotten it recertified?
I'm not sure what
You're
John's
gonna have to
done.
do that.
Well, I know it's been, I know the architect redrew it. And he's recertified it. And he's
Yeah,
given it to you?
It's considered a moved building
Yeah.
by the building code.
Yeah.
So, but the architect is gonna redraw it for us, as I spoke
Yes.
to them. So we have plans on how it's constructed.
Well, my understanding of the codes, it's pertaining to modular. The plans have to be, they need to be recertified by the state to get that Ohio seal, because that Ohio seal expires the first time it's placed. Who is the builder, by the way?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's an Ohio code building, I know that. And that's, it doesn't really matter who built it, Bruce, it matters when it's Ohio
It's a
code.
moved structure, if somebody removing that building.
Yeah, it's gonna be looking at the structure now, so it's no longer complying in the state, you know that
Right.
from
Well,
previous,
Make sure that hasn't changed, but to the best of my knowledge. it's
No.
treated as a
yeah, if you wanna
moved
take
structure.
apart the walls and go inside, make sure that you had, that can be done.
I
But it's,
know it's possible, but I also know it's a difficult, it can be a difficult
Well,
process.
if you have it recertified, but it's not, going to be considered a certified modular building, it's considered a relocated structure.
And from what I've seen of the specifications of the building, that's a temporary building.
What was that?
That's a temporary building. That's not a permanent, just from what I've seen of it so far. So to answer your question.
I guess I have a few questions.
Okay,
I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to answer them, they're probably more directed towards the school board.
all right.
The location, I'm not fond of it. Especially you're putting a building over a sanitary cleanout, I mean, that's,
Yeah, I did see that, and but the thing, you have access to that. It is completely off the ground, and it's really a small access, and there's other access.
I know, but is the school thought about rotating it? 180?
Well, I know right now they have it 30 feet from both existing structures, and I don't know if you can come any closer. I know 20, no, again, okay.
Well, I mean, they could still hold that your offset, just rotate it, because I guess to the east, there's some grass that won't hurt anything.
We can't come this way.
Well, you could.
Well, we could with the mound that they wanted to go into that.
I mean, have they looked at other alternate, like, positions of this?
Yeah, this is the only one that I know of where they wanted to put it. They didn't give us a choice. So maybe that is a question for the school board.
Right, and then it looks like they've already started like putting up some temporary barricades for bringing the students over this section.
Okay,
And I don't know if you've been there, but there looks like, I think it's a dust collector or something in the same hallway they're gonna be bringing students through. I'm not sure about the noise. I mean, like, unfortunately, the school board's not here.
yeah, I don't know exactly what they.
Yeah, because it looks like they want to be, in order for the students to access there, they're gonna be going through the hallway adjacent to like the mechanical, like the arts rooms. There's a huge dust collector right there.
Yeah, well, from door access, I noticed that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different accesses into the school. Is that what I did look at that, you have an access here, here.
Right,
So I know there's, so where were you talking about?
it would be the upper left, correct,
Okay,
yes. And the units are out in the parking
Yeah.
lot.
that's,
I assume they're gonna be painted.
I think they're gonna be completely recited.
Okay, good, because right now it's just.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me, I saw them, they were in Columbus, and I know.
Do we have a rendering of what's the final product's gonna look like?
I'm not sure exactly what the split, and I think it's a vinyl siding that they're going to put on the building.
Is there any other questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
is this unit going to be connected to the building for access from the inside, or the students gonna have? to
Not
walk outside?
physically connected, but it will have, access is, either you have, there's a center hallway that goes down the building here. And you're gonna have, access here and access here to get into the existing permanent school.
Okay.
Is there any questions or comments from the administration? Okay, go ahead.
It's my understanding, I don't want to say anything on turn, but I thought they said that this was temporary until they could get plans in place for a new high school and get approval for that. Then this unit would go bye-bye with that all.
Right, which I would
Certainly
assume that
down
as
the road.
well, right? Okay, is there any,
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
One other question, main hallway, do you know if it's fire rated? It should be.
Well, Bruce, I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm bringing the question up because it should be.
it's, from when I was looking at it, it's just an enclosed, like, fabric cloth tall.
Yeah, it's vinyl chip.
Yes.
Oh, fine, okay.
Yes.
It's final chip. We've been building them that way since '86.
I'm just saying,
No,
my
when you say,
experience,
I'm sure if it was gonna be fire rated, I think it would have been highly, as you well know, it's pretty strict in our
Exactly.
building codes. And I know that, if it was a suspended ceiling, I know they have to make sure that when they reconnect, each section, they have to be fireproof, but this is a solid roof, so you don't have, if it has to be, hour rated, that's 5/8 drywall. But I don't think it needs to be 2 hour rated, because you have it away from the building. It's 30 feet from the building, and you can get out of the building on either end.
I used to tell you about St. Martin Decor. We had to have a 2 hour rated hallway for 4 classrooms.
Well, it might have been that way because of the way it was sitting.
And we were unable to do that, and we had to put up ramps at every door.
All right,
Okay, do I have any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna close the public input section. Do I have any final questions or comments from the commission? I guess I have one comment. I guess I'm a little disappointed the school board didn't show up. Because at least I had some questions for them as far as what they were thinking as far as the location of this and the orientation and what their main way of getting students in and out. So I just want.
yeah,
All right, at this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept the plan.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, Madam Secretary, call roll.
Ali,
Yes.
Brotman,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes,
Gavins,
Abstain?
Smaller,
No.
motion carries.
I'm not sure if you get the paperwork or the school board gets the paperwork, so we'll get it signed and we'll go from there. So,
Okay, I couldn't exactly, what should I tell Mr. Moosberger here? I couldn't hear.
well, the planning commission made a recommendation for approval to city council.
Okay, fine.
So
Okay.
then it will go to city council.
Okay, I'll go to city council. Okay, I couldn't hear. Maybe it's my age, I don't know.
You're getting old, Chris.
Oh, that,
You're getting old.
yeah, Bruce knew me when I had hair. How long ago has that been?
You really want me to tell them?
Yeah. we'll just tell them. All right, Madam Secretary, please, for the next application.
E58/2022, an ordinance amending various sections of chapter 1294 supplementary regulations of the North Ridgeville zoning code in order to update the city's fence regulations. Note also provided as a companion piece is T57/2022, an ordinance repealing section 660.12 fences of the North Ridgeville General Offenses Code.
Okay, I think, do we have any staff comments?
Uh,
Okay, planning director, comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I would defer to the council sponsor, Councilman DeVries, if he wanted to say anything before I give a summary, unless you prefer I give a summary and then you can chime in with comments.
Well, that's valuable to you, go ahead, you seem to have all this information down.
Okay,
So,
no problem. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So T58-2022 are amendments to the zoning code, specifically to chapter 1294, which is supplementary regulations that were initiated in response to the number of variances being sought and approved by our BCBA for front yard fence height, mainly on corner lots where residents would be proposing fences behind the house, but that the fence itself was located between the dwelling and the street line. And our current code allows 3.5 foot of height. The residents filing for variances would inform the city that the standard commercially available fence height came in 4-foot sections. And so we've had every month, there's 1, 2, 3 of these variance requests for the BCBA. So that was really where this amendment started. But making this change provided staff the opportunity to look at other ways of improving this area of our zoning code. We looked for other places in the codified ordinances that address fencing, so we could eliminate any areas of conflict and also ideally locate all fencing regulations in one spot so that anyone looking to install a fence would have one place to refer to. So to review what those changes are, there's a small change to 1294.01E in regards to swimming pools. There is a provision currently that allows a minimum of 4 foot and a maximum of 5 foot height for pool fences. So we are proposing to remove the 5 foot height limit. Those fences will continue to be subject to the 6 foot height limit for any other residential fence. Did not seem necessary to limit them to 5 feet. So moving on to 1294.01H, which is the general fences section. So in this section, we've grouped the regulations into categories. So rules and regulations applicable to all fences, no matter what district. And then a section on fences in residential districts. And then a final section on fences in non-residential districts. By grouping this way, we thought it would help with readability to understand what regulations apply in what scenario. We clarified what is meant by the quote good side of the fence, the current zoning language. I think we all know that means like the finished side facing out, but wanted to include some language to make that more clear. We defined the term living fence, and we also made those height limits consistent with regulations found in our master tree plan code, which is section 1032.06, that establishes a maximum height of hedgerow, so as not to have vegetation provide a visual block to sidewalks or to streets. We also included language prohibiting fences from impeding visibility, from impeding access to utilities or flow of stormwater. We also specifically prohibited electrically charged fences, and this is also consistent with the companion piece T57/2022, which is a repeal of section 660.12 of the General Fences Code. Currently, the city allows for non-lethal electric fences and that section goes on to describe the situation in which those types of fences are permitted. You know, we're a growing community, we're more of a suburban community than a rural community. And I know the building official and I had some concern about allowing any type of electrically charged fence in the city by right. That we felt that by repealing that section, if there's an extreme circumstance where fencing of that type might be warranted, an applicant could potentially request a variance that could be approved if they can show a unique circumstance, but that that should be the exception, not the rule in North Ridgeville. In the residential section, again, the impetus for this legislation was to increase the height limit for front yard fences in residential districts from 3.5 to 4 feet. We have retained the requirement that they remain 50% open to provide for visibility through that fence to the adjoining streets and sidewalks. And we also improved the section around fences being installed along property lines. So we have established criteria to determine when a fence can be placed directly adjacent to that property line and when an offset might be required. So, you know, a lot of communities struggle with that back-to-back fences, or what is an adequate space to ensure maintenance of a fence, either from the residential property or on the opposite side. We want to create rules that make sense and that don't create neighbors walking on neighbors' property in order to be able to maintain their own fence. So we think we came up with a good solution there. We also have prohibited barbed wire fences in residential districts, but in commercial districts, we'll continue to allow 2 strands of barbed wire with a minimum distance from the ground of 6 feet. So that is also something that is in the current 660.12. That section established some rules around barbed wire fences that we wanted to move again to this fence section, and we've increased the allowable height. So I think currently it might be 4 feet or thereabouts. And we're raising it to 6. So it is currently 6. Okay. We wanted to make sure it was high enough that both hands couldn't reach. And then last kind of key change was changing the reference from E districts and I districts to just non-residential districts to encompass any and all non-residential districts, however they're labeled, now or in the future. So that's a summary of key changes, and if there are questions, I'm happy to answer any you might have.
Yeah, just one quick question, the electric fence, right now the code allows it,
Yes,
and now we're trying to remove that section of the code.
yes,
But if someone wants it, then they have to go to BZA and
Yeah.
basically, okay.
Mr. Chairman, in our
Yes.
meetings too, I spoke with a guy, he said currently there is nobody that's residential that has an electric fence. So this is not gonna change somebody's current standard.
Commercial, we haven't allowed it for years, even agriculture, we don't allow
Even though it was in the code, we're just cleaning it up. There's any other questions or comments from the commission?
it. The only one that was really in the code that was allowed was this non-lethal. But even that could be problematic, if a child got a hold of it, so it's just best with the community growing and the student or the children population growing, just to eliminate it, get rid of the potential.
Okay, is there any further questions or comments from the administration? All right, hearing none. Is there any questions or comments from the general public?
Well, I just like to thank the guy and Kim for their help with this. It makes sense, and it's the right thing to do.
Is there any additional questions or comments from the commission? All right, hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
I would move to recommend adoption of the ordinance.
Both ordinances?
Yes,
Is it,
are we going through the other one separately or?
I think the general fence is really is more of a companion piece just to help understand the totality of the changes, but it's
Right.
not actually requiring a planning commission's approval.
So I would move to recommend adoption of both pieces of legislation.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Ali,
Yes.
Brotman.
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes,
Avens.
Yes.
Smollett.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Is there any new business that we brought along this commission at this time? All right, hearing none. Excuse the planning commission, we're adjourned.
Did you see it? Go out there and try.
I-